Hi, welcome to Tired Teachers.
We are coming at you from Fort Davis National Historic Site,
In Fort Davis, Texas.
which is in the southwest corner of Texas. It's really near Big Bend area.
Yes.
Now, when we say really near, remember we're talking about Texas. It's several hours from here to Big Bend. I don't know exactly how many, but it's not just right around the corner. But this is one of the things I like about this historic site is how well they have kept some of the original while giving you a feel for what it was
like. They have kept...
And the visitor center, though, let's start there since that's really where you start. It's what you would expect from a national park visitor center. And, those are so much information, and they're, once again, having the replicas letting you get a feel for what the area would have looked like.
For little kids.
Where they could dress up, and
As a soldier.
as a period costume stuff. And when we were here once before, I want to say it was around 16?
Yeah,
Something like that.
Yeah, that's when it was.
We were here in a busier season. We were still working. I was still working. And they actually had some people in period costumes, a person on horseback,
Yes.
that would give out information, as you kind of went through the area.
It was on a weekend, though.
Yes, this is pretty much self-guided, and you walk around, and as you're driving in, there are the foundations you see are the original foundations of the buildings that were here. The fort was here to protect travelers. This was a trade route from New Mexico to San Antonio. And so that was kind of why...
to El Paso from here, which is...
on the way to New Mexico.
Yeah.
And so this, as you're coming in, you see those buildings, and they have them labeled, what year those buildings were active. One of my favorite places, and I'm looking at to make sure, was, the commissary, because in there they have a thing that's called falling through the cracks.
Right,
I believe is what it was.
Yes.
And they have a display there with, as they went through to redo this building so you could get
They did almost like an archaeological dig to find...
took out the original floorboards and then sifted through the dirt underneath and found like wedding rings and pieces of dishes and little toys and marbles, and I guess to me that puts a more human perspective on it, that these were real people.
But they have several of the buildings which have things inside. One of them's basically artillery. It's some of the weapons that were here, cannons and such. And they have one that's a barracks.
And then there is a place where you can walk on out a quarter of a mile to the cemetery. But they do have a sign saying that there are no marked graves.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a pasture, a field. And the one thing the ranger did say, because we asked, there is a trail that connects the state park, Davis Mountain State Park, with this historic site. And the thing the ranger at the state park told us is that the national park closes at 5. And you can't be there after 5. The thing that the ranger here told us was, look out for rattlesnakes. They've had a lot of sightings. And so, we'll show you the map of that trail. That's the part we'll show you. But that is a a possibility
Well,
if you.
and while we were asking, while they talked about the cemetery, I asked if there was a morgue here because I know that there was at Fort Richardson. He said no. For the people, the officers were given coffins and often
Transported
back to wherever their home was. But
The enlisted
men were they were just buried.
Just making sure whatever that clicking sound is. Oh, it's an insect of some kind. Anyway, it's on the outside. It can't get through our wonderful fence here. But anyway, I love the fact that there's that. I feel like the mixture is really good of what is as it was when they found it, and what they've done to reconstruct it so that we get
and
a feel.
Done a wonderful thing. African Americans had just been allowed to be in the Army in 1869 as, I think, Buffalo soldiers, but they were incorporating some. And they talked about a man named, I have to look it up, Flipper. His last name was Flipper. He was the first African American to graduate from West Point. And they have a nice thing about him. They have several of the soldiers in mannequin soldiers in costume.
Yeah, it's it is what you would expect from a National Park Service. And this area of Texas, when you look at the map, it's pretty sparsely populated, and yet in this area, and not that far from here, there's a lot to do. And
Yes.
This was a stop we definitely wanted to make. And we're not historians, but there's enough real history here
Yes.
to really get you interested.
Yes.
And so we've enjoyed our time here. We've enjoyed meeting some folks that you have watched our videos, and we always enjoy
One
that.
is a park ranger in Mineral Wells.
And so we always enjoy that. And, we just wanted to kind of give you an overview. And if you're coming across Highway 10, this is south of there. I'm thinking this is less than an hour. I mean, we're going to be going up to Balmorea right now, which is just off of that. So I'm thinking this is probably about an hour south of Interstate 10. And it would be something interesting to break up that drive because that's a brutal drive across there. And so if you're looking for something, this might be something to fill the bill. Hope you've enjoyed our look at Fort Davis National Historic Site. Thanks for watching Two Tired Teachers.